Hello everyone out there in Superhero Deep Dive land! Welcome to another episode of Superhero Deep Dive. I, as always, am your host Jason, and it's a pretty good episode today. Pretty obscure hero. You probably know her, you've probably seen her, but you probably don't know a lot about her because there's just not a lot about her out there, I guess. Let me get into it. I have a couple things to get taken care of, like disclaimers, announcements, what have you, and we will get into it. So, this information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. Also, you can catch me every Tuesday and Thursday on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their website is www.un-con-conventional.com/radio, and I'm on every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day. You can catch me on Twitter or Instagram under Super Deep Dive, and I try to use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. I post daily on Instagram with superhero memes, but I also post them on YouTube. If you're not watching me, if you're not following me on YouTube, please do so now. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. If you need to find me, you can find me under Superhero Deep Dive. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe, share, help me grow the channel. It'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. I plan on doing a giveaway once I get into the 4-digit mark. So once I top 1,000 subscribers. And I'm at like 8 something right now at the time of the recording. So hopefully that will happen soon. But I do post videos every day. I post funny animal videos. I post comic art videos. The podcast, I post superhero memes every day. I'm very active. Follow me. You're in for a good time. Let's see, what else? Oh yes, you can also email me anytime at b4itall, so b4itall@yahoo.com. Okay, got that out of the way. Announcement. At the time of this recording, it's only a few days away from Vet City Con in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's on the 11th of March. I will be there with Flanagan and Coron from Talk Nerdy to Me. Actually from Friends with Benefits, and we are part of the Talk Nerdy to Me network. I believe that the Western Kentucky Ghostbusters will also be there, raising money for the Children's Hospital. So it'll be a really good time. Come out, see me. Plan on having some giveaways. Plan on having some giveaways. Plan on recording some live content. It'll be great. We'll have a lot of fun. Also going to do some comedy, so tune in for that. But yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, let's get into Meggan then. We're going to be covering Meggan from Excalibur fame. British superhero. She's awesome. Or is she? Maybe. I think so. Let's take a look. Okay, her real name is Meggan. It's Puceanu. So Puceanu, because we have Keanu, so Puceanu, I don't know. Braddock. She was born in a blizzard to a British Romanical family near Fenborough Station in England. Meggan adapted to the cold by growing fur, to the horror of her family. Unfortunately, as an empathic metamorph, the more they saw her as a monster, the more monstrous she became, growing webbing upon her hands and feet, antennae on her head, claws, and patagia. I don't know what that is, but it sounds kind of weird. If I sound a little congested or if I have a little cough, please excuse me. I'm battling sinus stuff and excuse me, like that. And I am hopped up on medicine and cough drops, and if it happens, it gets through the defenses. But anyways, alright, so the more monsters she's seen, the more monsters she gets, because she's an empath and a metamorph, among other things. The belief was that she was some sort of monster, and was also affected by the fact that Meggan's birth took place near an ancient British fortress that was rumored to be the site of dark magic. Meggan's family hid her away in their camper, where she watched television incessantly, totally immersing herself in the fantasy of the various British TV shows at the time, such as Gary Anderson Fair, Quatermass, Doctor Who for you Whovians, and many more. It was probably more Doctor Who than anything, though. Eventually, she met Captain Britain and fought him, but then befriended him. She fell in love with him, joining him as an adventurer, and with him, she first encountered Gatecrasher's TechNet. After having been told by a telepath that her inner soul looked as beautiful as an iridescent butterfly, during combat against a commando of RCX-controlled Warpies, I don't know what any of these things are. TechNet, I think, is a... I don't know. What is TechNet? Let me know in the comments. Go on YouTube, find me. Let me know, what is TechNet? Because I wasn't able to find anything like really defining, but I did a quick search as well. I'm trying to get this podcast done and one for next week because of the convention coming up. Excuse me. So let me know, what is TechNet? But anyways, she stabilized her powers on an attractive form that pleased Brian, who was Captain Britain, and also pleased her. Captain Britain fell in love right back, and the two began a romantic relationship. Man, that sounds really shallow, doesn't it? Like, oh yeah, now that she's hot, I'll fall in love with her. Oh well. But together they defeated Baba Yaga, and the two had a long and stormy courtship, marred by events both cosmic and mundane. Meggan then fought Gatecrasher's TechNet alongside Captain Britain, Nightcrawler, Phoenix, and Shadowcat. And this Phoenix isn't the Jean Grey Phoenix, it's the Rachel Summers, who we also did a deep dive on. Check it out. And with them became a founding member of Excalibur. A few months after she and Brian helped found Excalibur, Meggan resumed the search for her parents, traveling to Europe with Phoenix, which was Rachel Summers, tracking a rumor of a magic creature hidden in a gypsy's van. The story proved to be about a being belonging to a mystical race called the Neuri, who showed Meggan her true appearance. Meggan became attracted to Nightcrawler before long, and Excalibur clashed with Arcade and the Crazy Gang, and Meggan temporarily switched bodies with the Crazy Gang's Knave. Brian could not deal with Nightcrawler's attraction towards Meggan, which was strongly reciprocated, and Meggan later developed a crush on Peter Rasputin, the X-Men Colossus. Excuse me. So, this tells me she doesn't really have a type, which is good, because Colossus is this big armored guy. Nightcrawler was very skinny, very kind of lanky, because he did acrobatics, so he's very lean. Lean muscle, not bulky muscle. So very different body types. Captain Britain was kind of like, big strong guy too. So she doesn't really have a type, which means that all of us have a chance. I'm just playing, kind of. Anyways, they reconcile. Meggan and Brian, who's Captain Britain, are wed, with the celebration attended by all their friends and some enemies in the 125th issue of Excalibur. Due to her odd upbringing for many years, Meggan was naive in many aspects of culture, obsessed with television, and functionally illiterate. For example, she did not know that Doctor Doom was such a horrific threat, though she soon learned that when he attacked the entire team and attempted to destroy England. Her Excalibur teammates over the years brought her up to speed with earthly life and knowledge. Douglock took a personal effort in being her teacher after he joined the team, and in the latter part of the Excalibur series, Meggan became much more self-sufficient, taking more of a leadership role. She even changed her costume to be much more threatening. She used the minimum of force needed, but did not hesitate to scare her adversaries. Hold on one second. Excuse me. Alright. When Roma stepped down and let Captain Britain become the omniversal guardian of the otherworld, because that's a thing, Meggan came to rule beside him as his queen. They supervised the origin of another Captain Britain who became associated with the Avengers. Later, the Scarlet Witch caused a hole in reality because that's what she does too. It's not just the movies. She does the stuff like, oh yeah, I want kids. I'm gonna break apart reality. I want this. Me. Alright. I'm sorry, Scarlet Witch is selfish. Anyways. Oh, she caused a hole in reality when she altered it to create the House of M, and this set off a multi-dimensional tidal wave threatening Otherworld and other parallel realities of the Omniverse. Meggan and Captain Britain were sent to fix the hole. I'm sorry. They were sent to fix the hole given only a short amount of time before Saturnine would destroy the 616 reality to prevent it from hurting the other realities. Working with Princess Royal Elizabeth Gloriana Braddock and Rachel Summers, Meggan and Captain Britain located the hole in reality through which the tidal chaos wave was about to spread. Allowing the others to seal the gap, Meggan ventured into the void beyond and sacrificed herself to briefly slow the progress of the impacting chaotic energies to give Betsy, Rachel, and Captain Britain time to sow the reality tear. When reality was restored, only a few remembered what had occurred during the House of M. Captain Britain and the others were among the many who didn't, having only vague memories of the ordeal and believing it to be a dream. As a result, Brian doesn't know about Meggan's sacrifice and has no idea where she is, leaving him in distress. Excuse me. After Pete Wisdom releases the dark and evil magic to prevent a Skrull invasion in England, Plotka, a Lord of Hell, tries to make a deal with Captain Britain and reveals what appears to be Meggan in his collection of otherworldly realms. Captain Britain, knowing it might merely be an illusion, states that he can't take the chance of it being real and plunges through the dimensional gate. After sealing it shut, Plotka informs his underling that this was merely a dream world and that he was delighted that Captain Britain allowed himself to be sealed within it. Within the dream world, Meggan and Captain Britain live at least several weeks believing it to be reality, though Brian expresses doubts about the inconsistencies of the world. His train of thought on the subject, however, is disrupted when he and Meggan's quiet lunch in Braddock's pub is attacked by his deceased brother, Jamie Braddock. Meggan is actually eventually revealed to be alive, but lost between dimensions, because that's what she's gonna do too. Excuse me. Meggan is soon revealed to be trapped in hell. Unlike most of its occupants, however, she is not in torment and still senses hope reaching her from outside of hell, a fact that disturbs the Lord of Hell greatly. During her audience with them, they trick her into using her empathy, which forces her to assume a hideous and misshapen form and trap her in it. The Lords, having judged her, quickly exile her into another portion of hell. However, an angry Meggan lashes out with her empathy, which causes all the lesser demons in her presence to rally behind her, having been affected by her anger. This catches the attention of Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld and old enemy of Hercules. They forge an alliance and he restores Meggan to her usual self. She spends the following months leading her army of demon followers in waging war against the Lords of Hell, very successfully since her empathy overwhelms the enemy's armies, causing them to turn on their respective lords, which was most notably Blackheart, which is kind of a big deal. Excuse me. Because Blackheart is like a major Ghost Rider villain, and you don't mess with Ghost Rider. So, the fact that she's able to overwhelm his armies and in turn help overwhelm him is pretty awesome. During one such battle, she feels nostalgic and reminisces about her husband Brian. This causes her army to feel happiness, something that they haven't experienced in a while, if at all. And the demons name her Gloriana in honor of this feat and idolize her further. After a while, she forms a kingdom, Elysium, to serve as a sanctuary for souls to escape torment and gives Pluto part of her conquest in payment. Following that, she left in hope of searching for a way home. After having wandered through a large part of hell, she finally finds a crack through which moonlight pours through. Quickly, she passes through the crack only to be greeted by Dr. Doom on the other side, within Dracula's ship departing from the moon. Okay, I'm going to read that part again because it doesn't make sense. She passes through the crack in hell that moonlight comes through, only to be greeted by Dr. Doom on the other side, and Dr. Doom is actually within Dracula's ship departing from the moon. So is hell on the moon? How is it getting moonlight if it's on the moon? It makes no sense. Excuse me. As Dracula begins his invasion of Britain, he is confronted with more resistance than expected, along with some of his vampires resisting him, going as far as even directly disobeying him. Dr. Doom contacts him briefly, telling him that he has left him a gift in his ship's hold. Located in the ship is Meggan, much to Dracula's confusion. However, he soon realizes that Meggan is the reason why his mental hold on the other vampires is growing weaker, since she uses her mental powers to broadcast rebellion. Dracula attempts to kill her, but is stopped by Captain Britain, who is furious at the Vampire King. Meggan and Brian battle the vampires and Dracula until the ship and majority of the vampires are destroyed via a spell. Once the battle is over, Meggan and Brian are happily reunited. Meggan later joined Captain Britain in starting the Braddock Academy, which is kind of like a superhero academy, only in like England. Like it's like excuse me. It's like their version of Mutant Hogwarts, I guess. Anyways, during the Infinity storyline, Meggan represented the Braddock Academy where Henry Pym planned a Contest of Champions event. She assists Henry Pym, She-Hulk, and Wolverine in supervising the event. Meggan and Brian, which is Captain Britain, are reunited with their Excalibur teammates as they welcome Nightcrawler back from the dead. That's really all her history that I got. It seems very scattered. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of her history? There's not a lot to it. Like she was able to walk freely through hell, and she's that obscure. She's that obscure that she can walk through hell and do all this stuff, and it's not a bigger deal than it is. Like, come on, man. All right. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. If you aren't, you can catch me on YouTube and let me know what you think in the comments under Superhero Deep Dive. Like, comment, like, subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be great because I'll do a giveaway. And yeah, you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram under Super Deep Dive. I try to use hashtag Superhero Deep Dive, and you can email me directly, which I do get frequent emails. It's B4itall, so B4itall at yahoo.com. Alright, let me get into her powers. Excuse me, she's got a lot of powers. So, Meggan is a powerful superhuman called an empath metamorph, or an elemental megamorph. I don't know, that's what it says. With the apparent ability to assume virtually any superhuman power in existence at will. Her abilities include empathy, an elemental link to nature and mystical energies, and shapeshifting. Meggan's empathy enables her to sense the emotions and feelings of living creatures, from people to animals to plants to whatever, and including the ability to psionically perceive an object or person's psychic, natural, and mystical energy aura. Meggan's empathy has also given her an affinity towards learning both human language and animal communication systems. Her empathic powers used to make her sensitive to surrounding moods, making her change appearance depending on themselves, their needs or perceptions, and make her vulnerable to certain telepathic manipulation. Primarily, when she herself was either in a vulnerable emotional state, distracted, focused on the person in question, or her powers were in a minor flux from lack of mystical substance. Yeah. She eventually overcame most of the issues of this, and rather learned to broadcast her own feelings to influence other people's emotion, to the extent that she incited a rebellion in the part of hell ruled by Blackheart. And she also disrupted Dracula's control of his vampires by broadcasting rebellion. Okay. Her mental powers, her empathic powers are so great, she was able to incite a rebellion against Blackheart and mess up Dracula's powers. Like, these are two they're not just heavy hitters. They are like super heavy hitters. And she's just like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Meggan's empathy creates a psionic link to the natural forces of the earth, and by speaking to the elements, Meggan can command the environment around her, and her emotional state can affect the local ecosystems. Through thought alone, Meggan can extinguish forest fires, summon gale force winds, and part the waters of a lake, or cause earthquakes in a flash of anger. You know, I knew someone that could part the waters too, you know, so it's not that special. I mean, I'm not saying that I've done it, I'm just saying it's been done. I've read a book. So, anyways, Meggan has even been observed causing electromagnetic pulses by commanding the magnetic fields around her, freezing opponents by rapidly dropping the air temperature around them, or increasing the powers of elemental mutants, such as increasing the temperature of Pete Wisdom's heat blast. I'm sure she can augment Iceman and stuff like that too. Meggan has used her elemental powers to affect man-made objects, such as making the atoms in a building's roof fall apart, creating a hole in the roof that resealed itself once Meggan passed through. And she can also project very powerful blasts, orbs, waves, and beams of elemental energy for different purposes, such as to destroy or hit objects or people with great force, illuminate an area, etc., etc. She can also generate energy construction such as force fields or screens of elemental energy. She has also been observed controlling mystical energies. Meggan can also hover and fly. She has once commented during the case where she was working undercover that her feet hurt because she was unused to walking entirely, not seeing the point when she could more easily fly. I mean, it's hard to trip over your feet if you're hovering, right? By combining her powers with Rachel Summers on an alternate Earth filled with magic, Meggan succeeded in bringing the dead back to life. Meggan can also alter her form at will and can assume the form of any creature, even those who only exist in legends. Initially, she changed forms unconsciously, and like as a newborn infant, she instinctively adopted a fur-covered, somewhat animal-like form in response to the cold weather around her. Her empathic powers made her vulnerable to the superstitions of her people and their fear of her powers, which caused her to shapeshift into an increasingly hideous form. It was not until she began adventuring with Captain Britain and working with psychic Alison Double that she came to understand the extent of her powers. Currently, Meggan's usual form is a blonde woman with pointed ears, which some texts indicate that this form is based subconsciously on Captain Britain's expectations, in which it took several more years for Meggan to discover her natural form, which is taller than a normal human, with longer platinum blonde hair, pointed ears, and black eyes. So her natural form is kind of like elvish, which is cool with me. Meggan can add to her mass and shed this additional mass at will. Like right now, I'm doing keto because I'm trying to shed some additional mass before the Vet City Con. But anyways, she can do this at will. Meggan adopts the special abilities, superhuman powers, and even aspects of the internal anatomy of whatever being she uses her metamorphic powers to imitate. She once became a Godzilla-like fire-breathing dragon, and on another occasion she became a werewolf that had all of a wolf's natural abilities. Meggan can assume the form of other people as well. Her facial features and overall physical appearance often change to a degree with her mood. Although she retains better control of her form as an adult, Meggan may consciously or unconsciously alter her appearance to resemble people or even animals she is with at the time, and still occasionally changes form in response to the emotions around her, becoming beautiful when she feels loved or hideous when she feels fear or anger. She might become considerably less attractive when deeply depressed. Usually, this happens when she is under stress or spends significant time away from the British Isles. Her elemental powers also cause Meggan to change in response to her surroundings, growing fur in extreme cold or gills when she is submerged or swimming underwater. So from here, do you guys remember like the X-Men First Class movie where they had that one guy, Darwin, who could adapt to survive? She's like an amped up version of that because she can also do powers and stuff. But that's kind of what this is. She can increase the density of her muscle tissue to boost her strength and or speed to superhuman levels, shown capable of exceeding that of Captain Britain on 2 separate occasions. Now, strength-wise, Captain Britain, he can fight the Thing. He can fight the Hulk. He's not quite as strong as the Hulk, but he's definitely a heavy hitter. Like, Captain Britain is not England's version of Captain America. It's kind of like England's version of Superman, if that helps. The use of this power is tied to the planet itself, and during her confrontation with Galactus, she grew in stature to match the Planet Eater's size, but the taller she grew, the more she was destabilizing the environment nearby. And it's because she was pulling that energy from the planet. Meggan's most formidable talent, as if these weren't enough, is her ability to instantly mimic the powers of other superhumans. In one case, turning into fully empowered duplicates of Dazzler, Rogue, Colossus, Longshot, Storm, Wolverine, Rachel Summers, and Havoc in rapid succession. Let's see, and if you want to know their powers, I've done a deep dive on Dazzler, I've done a deep dive on Rachel Summers, and I've done a deep dive on Havoc, so I've, like, almost half these people I've done deep dives on. You should check them out! Alright, given sufficient magic and energy in her surroundings, she has even effortlessly turned into a female copy of the Silver Surfer, which is no joke. She has also transformed herself into a sentient sand or water and attained the associated properties. Okay, lastly, Meggan is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant trained by Captain Britain. She has no formal education and is self-taught about contemporary culture through television viewing, although her allies from Excalibur take the time to bring her up to speed. So wow. Basically, she can do anything she wants. Like anything. Let me get into fun facts. In 2014, Entertainment Weekly ranked Meggan 90th on their Let's Rank Every X-Men Ever list. I don't know how many were on that list, because it said Every X-Men Ever, but it was also 2014, so there was a lot at the time. In 2018, CBR, which is comicbookresources.com, so CBR.com, ranked Meggan 5th on their 20 most powerful mutants from the 80s list. And in 1986, she won Favorite Supporting Character Eagle Award. Cool. Now, I do have a fun fact saved for you, but it's going to be in my final thoughts. But once again, let me know what you guys think of Meggan. She's pretty awesome, right? I mean, but she doesn't have any history. Like, she doesn't have any history. Her powers took me longer to go over than her history, I think. But let me give my final thoughts. Meggan was always a mystery to me. I honestly thought that she was an elf or some other kind of mystical creature that just loved hanging around people, like hanging around superheroes, instead of actually being an incredibly powerful mutant. Her power set's awesome, and she's got this naivety which makes you instantly like her as a character. But why do we not see more of her? Okay, this is the other fun fact. I blame her creator more than anything on this. Her creator is Alan Moore, the legendary Alan Moore. Who's Alan Moore? Why does he sound familiar? If you're not familiar, Alan Moore created Watchmen. He created, oh my gosh, I had a whole list of things he's created and I have forgotten it. I believe he created Swamp Thing? If I'm wrong, please correct me. But let me know in the comments. What are some other classic works of Alan Moore? Watchmen is the big one. But he's done other things too. I think he even did like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is an awesome read. Fun movie. A lot of people don't like the movie. I consider it a background movie where it's just fun to have in the background. Mainly because you can walk away from it and come back anytime. Oh, he also did V for Vendetta, I think? Maybe? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know. I had a whole list and I lost the list and I've forgotten the list. But Alan Moore. Now, Alan Moore is notorious for his control and critique over characters that he makes, especially if he feels that they aren't done properly. I think that he's got some companies, comic companies, so scared of him that they really don't mess with his characters too much, aside from whatever DC thinks they're doing with whatever they do. And the reason I say that is because they did a whole like extra Watchmen series a few years back, and I believe that Alan Moore just like ripped it apart. They had the extra Watchmen series on HBO Max. Excuse me. Which was pretty good, but they took a lot of liberties. Like, they took a lot of liberties with the characters, and I don't think Alan Moore was really appreciative, and he's very vocal about his opinions. So I think that's why Marvel doesn't do a whole lot with Meggan, because she's incredibly powerful. She's immensely powerful, and she's really likable. But they don't want to deal with Alan Moore. And I wouldn't blame them. But I think Meggan would do well in something like a mystical European adventure. Like something with all the folklore that England has. I'd love to see her have to tap into her power and shed some of that naivety and really have to push herself to the limit. Like, honestly, with her being so underused, something like this could easily play into like a Disney Plus one-shot or something like that where it plays into the MCU but doesn't have to be directly affecting it. Like, technically, this kind of story where she's dealing with like the folklore and stuff like that, this could play well back in time, where it leads into the Black Knight and the Ebony Blade, which we saw at the end of Eternals. So, you know, there are avenues that can be taken with this. And that's just a thought I had. But I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Like I said, you can catch me on Twitter or Instagram under superherodeepdive. You can catch me on YouTube under superherodeepdive. If you do, comment, like, subscribe, share. If you have requests, I love getting requests. I love having conversations with you guys. Everything gets acknowledged to the best of my ability. But yeah, and you can email me directly at b4, so b4itall@yahoo.com. But I think I'm going to step out for now. Let me know what you guys think. Is Meggan worth pursuing as far as like a superhero property in the media? Does she just need to go away? Is she better off being forgotten about? I don't think she is. I think she's greatly underrated for the huge power set that she has, but I also don't think they know what to do with her. Let me know. In the meantime, guys, I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone's happy, and I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is smart, but if you're not smart, don't get caught. I'll see you guys next week. And if not next week, hopefully I'll see you guys at Vet City Con. See you guys later. Bye-bye.